What's up, Stratego brothers? This is OuweSok with another old Stratego game that I played in January of 2018. My opponent was Tilor, one of the forum regulars in Stratego.com, and we are both golden marshals, platinum wannabes, and this is a friendly game, so there's no elo at stake. Obviously he knew my channel, so I couldn't use any of my known setups, and I chose to use a setup that I would call Snowball, and it's a strategy and a type of setup that I've been playing around a decent lot as well. The idea is to put no big pieces at all in the two first lines, so you'll find no spies, marshals, generals and colonels in the first two lines. And the idea of this setup is to go and play Stratego, win a piece, lose a piece, exchange pieces, whatever happens in a normal Stratego game. And by this you have like the standard attrition in your setup. The first layer gets peeled off, the second layer gets peeled off, and the first two rows, let's say, they are being emptied. And when this happens in my setup, if I'm not bringing out one of the big pieces, one of the big guns that are on the second in the second last row, so in the third row, if I don't bring them up, my opponent doesn't learn about them. While I will learn about all his pieces that are in the first two rows, that are at the end hidden behind his legs, not wanting to show, and instead of them he's picking pieces from other rows more to the back to bring it to play instead. So that helps me narrow down his big pieces. This is a kind of strategy, kind of setup that you should use against somebody who is a careful player, somebody who likes to keep his marshal and general hidden, who is not very aggressive, who doesn't come in lottoing, because then he would find a lot of material here to capture. You don't have your spy well positioned for an early marshal attack, nor a blitzer. So somebody who plays a careful game, and with this setup you can try and beat him at this game, because simply his big pieces will get exposed earlier than yours. So let's see how this game goes, and put it in action. One more, so a couple more comments about the setup. My flag is in a really unusual position. This is one of the least favorite positions for a flag, because it requires 3 bombs to be bombed in, and is about as unsafe as it can be in the corner, and it just requires an extra bomb to bomb it in. So it's not a really popular place, and also then maybe something that my opponent will not expect. Here there's a double bomb. If one of these bombs is found, then there's a pretty decent chance that he will lotto with some piece into the other, or think my flag is somewhere here, and that will not work. So that's also some ideas and unexpected things in this setup. Also, I have to say that I don't really like this bottom line, which is really weak. If some piece can get through here, not easy, because here's my marshal, then he can munch them all up. Another unexpected thing is that I have placed my marshal and my flag in different parts of the board. So all in all, I don't think it's a really predictable setup, and that's really the idea behind any kind of setup. You don't want your opponent to be able to read it too easily and make accurate guesses about where your pieces are, where your bombs are, and where to lotto or not to lotto. So let's continue. I think when your first piece here is scouted, it is like an instinctive move to move out the lieutenant, which is the lower piece of the two, and protect your major. I think should also be capable of moving up the bigger piece, and not make your game too readable. Okay, so I captured a lieutenant, which is a pretty good result for my major. Not much going on yet. Okay, so I'm stopping here the video for one moment, a pause. I hit with my lieutenant. That was a wrong action because I found the captain, and on his next move he moved up this piece. What does it tell me? This tells me that this piece is a weak piece because this is a known major. If this were a colonel or better, he would hit this this piece and be in a very strong position. So this tells me this is a relatively worthless piece, and he doesn't want to hit here and lose it to my major. My scout is trapped. There's not really much I can do now with my major. I would be happy if this piece moved in here, so I could move to the right and trap the captain and capture it. My known major for known captain and big piece information, that's for me a fine exchange. But he doesn't make this mistake, so no progress here. Okay, so this was also interesting. His known captain just went down immediately when I moved out my major. This kind of tells me that there's no piece here that can capture a major. I don't know if this was true actually, but this is like a conclusion that you could make about these pieces that you can find here. So instead he just went in and hoped that I was bluffing with a smaller piece or hoping to find a really nice piece, but he got the worst possible news, and that was that it was a major. He brings a piece from behind the lake, threatens my major, and I really should have trusted my read that this is not going to be a big piece, or he would probably have retreated his captain and captured it, but okay, it's not 100% sure that this is correct read, so having it tucked in here also would give my opponent the idea that any of these two pieces could be a very large piece. Okay, so I think this is a mistake. From my part, I should have moved my major back before capturing the captain with my colonel, because Tilor quickly takes disadvantage of this mistake and moves in with an unknown piece, and I have a dilemma. If this is a colonel, I must hit it. If it's a general or marshal, I should retreat. Yeah, so that's a situation that it's a guess that you don't want to put yourself in. So I should have avoided this and retreated my major before going in with my capturing the captain with my colonel. And it's a colonel, so that's pretty bad. Of course, I was happy to capture the captain with my major and learn about his colonel, but now in this exchange I learned about his colonel and he learned about mine, so that was not profitable for me. So that's a small loss I have to take in this game. Moving up my Marshal. Leaving it open for 2 turns. Maybe my opponent thinks then it's a weak piece. If you keep your big pieces hidden all the time, unscoutable, then you're also providing information. So you should mix that up now and then. A lieutenant for me again, that's okay. I don't know what this is, so I'm retreating. I probably should have retreated into here. Yeah, that's a major. Okay, so that was a good exchange for me. I captured this minor, and he retreated with this piece. So that's probably a piece that he doesn't want me to know. So I would now think that this is possibly a general or marshal, maybe colonel that he doesn't want to reveal. So I'm happy. I mean, my sergeant has done his job, and I will be happy to scout what's behind the lake and I find a bomb. That's some useful information. He's now moving his major to here. I scout the piece, and it was a scout that was semi-protecting his minor. That's why he moved it out. It was not general or marshal, unfortunately. Yeah. So as I said earlier, I probably should not have fallen for this piece being something big. This game is quite strong. I mean, he moves very few pieces. I know very few about his position. And I think that's a good part of a good strategy that he's following. It's hard to play against somebody who moves 3 pieces and most of them are unknown. A lot of players move too many pieces, and that can put them into awkward positions where they get lottoed or a big piece enters their setup and not everything can escape. So he's playing that very well. What's happening with my line? My internet is going down. Okay, enter it back again. I'm going to lieutenant with my captain. And if we look at the position now for one moment, it's quite balanced, the material. But if we count the pieces, he has got 10, 14, 16, 22. And I've got 18, 20, 24. So I'm up 2 pieces. I managed to have more favorable exchanges. And I think this is one of the problems of gold players who are a bit too predictable with their encounters of 2 unknown pieces. I think sometimes you should bring a little bigger piece that's a little bit more bigger than maybe your opponent expects, so that you can win a little bit more counters than your opponent. And I've had the better share of these kinds of exchanges where my pieces ended up being 1 or 2 bigger than his. And building up a quantity advantage of 2 or 3 pieces is something that can give you at the end a fairly significant advantage. Again, I was expecting a bit bigger piece. I was expecting a captain or a major. But okay, I showed my colonel. I won a sergeant. But all in all, his pieces are the number of pieces he has is going down, and that's a good thing for me. Slowly bleeding him to death. This is fairly unusual for me in games against gold players. I usually manage to keep my Marshal hidden for a longer time than my opponent. However, Tilor beat me at this game. I have to show my Marshal for not a really big piece. It was a major that I was up anyway, that I lost against the colonel in an early game. But again, he may be up now significant information. He knows my colonel, he knows my Marshal, but the amount of pieces that he has to work with and make advantage of this situation is just really limited. So because I have 2, 3, 4 pieces more than him, it is really difficult for him to put me in an awkward position, because I can just take one of my throwaway pieces. I have a couple of sergeants, I can have a couple of lieutenants, maybe a minor that I can throw in the jaws of an unknown piece, and there's this really quite hard for him to progress despite having information advantage. If you have information advantage, you really also want to have piece equality or more, and it's better to have a disadvantage in piece quality than in piece quantity. If you've seen various of my games where I was down a major or a colonel, but I was up information, and then having more pieces, you can make the game for your opponent quite difficult. But anyway, he knows my colonel and he knows my Marshal. So what now? That was only lieutenant. I had hoped or expected something bigger. Again, I just have very few ideas of his position. I know that's a lieutenant, and I don't think I know anything else. He brings out a piece from here. That's unexpected. That shows me that this is probably not the flag. I'm running in with my captain, and this is an interesting spot. This is a known lieutenant, but I have the idea that this is also an interesting piece. And yeah, I think at the end it's just better to hit in here, grab the lieutenant, and learn information about a bigger piece. But I was curious about this piece, and I chose to hit it, and I found general. So that's a nice piece of information. And with my Marshal, I can contain his general. And yeah, for the rest, I just know that this is a piece that has moved from here, and this is a lieutenant. This is probably a mistake for my part, because I think he knew that this was a captain, and yeah, these are things. My memory is quite bad. One of the reasons I didn't really manage to make it to a really high level. My strategy maybe is okay, but my memory is shit. So I remembered it came from here, but I didn't remember that he knew this was a captain. So this is just never a minor or a weak piece. Anyway, can win them all. I still have a healthy piece advantage, and I've also gained some information. Also, the scouts are all of the board, so that means I can move around with my spy, pretending it to be a random piece, pretending it to be not a spy. That's another weak piece that he two sergeants. I mean, it's getting really awkward for him. Let's count the pieces. 10, 18, I've got 10, 15, 20, so I'm up 2 pieces. I lost the captain, but I won 2 sergeants, and he's running out of lower pieces. So it's a matter of time that he starts moving his big pieces. That's the lieutenant coming out. I'm happy to take it with my colonel. He followed it as well, probably. Okay, so that was a rather big decision. It also showed that my read was wrong. I thought there were no pieces here that could protect his captain. He would have retreated his captain in the early game when I moved out with my major, and he would have been able to recapture my major with his colonel. But I was right that it wasn't the Marshal that was coming at me, and I made the right decision. Tilor has shown to be really hesitant to bring out his big guns, so that's why I decided it was worth the risk to capture that piece. And again, more pieces come off the board. His abilities to put pressure on me have just more or less evaporated. And the fact that he knows my Marshal and I know his general more or less counter checks is balances it out. I have no clue what this is. But now I'm going to find out, and it was a surprising spy. So it's a good catch. Cements my advantage. Really, count the pieces again. It's just getting really awkward for him. It's just a matter of time that he has to bring out his Marshal. Yeah, there goes my internet again. I have to pause the video. Okay. What's happening with the... I don't have these videos anymore on my hard disk. I'm just grabbing from... Oops! I'm just playing my own videos on YouTube. He made a mistake here he left. I threatened his general, and he moved another piece. So that was kind of lame, and I allowed a take back here. That would be a really lame finish of this game. So general is my position, but I'm going to grab here a nice little piece. Juicy major, which reduces my material disadvantage, the quality disadvantage that I had. And yeah, he's now really facing an opponent with a lot more pieces. The only trump card he has left really is his unknown Marshal. He's starting into lotto mode. Oops. Okay, so this game is about to be over. The only problem is that I forgot what this game was about. This is the game of Stratego. In the game of Stratego, it is not the intention of the game to deplete your opponent of pieces. It is the intention of the game is to capture the flag, and my flag is extremely naked here, and something starts moving here, and unfortunately I cannot stop it. So this is a really ridiculous end to the game. My own mistake. I was in a winning position. I should have just kept my Marshal and general here to protect the flag and move out my pieces to win. But okay, that's just what happens. That shows you that sometimes your opponent can make big mistakes, and you should never give up. Okay, so that was the video. Congrats to Tilor for winning this game, and I hope you liked it. And yeah, see you another.